से start लेंगे हम, right?
All right. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Welcome back to yet another exciting session, a panel discussion again from the very esteemed guests that were there last week. It's basically this session that we have organized today from Skillers Education Consultancy's platform was mainly upon your request. A number of people requested us to talk about strategies that parents and teachers can use at home to support. Last week we did have an orientation session. It was more about introduction, that how can we support different people across from early years to adolescence age, and what are the challenges and opportunities we had. Today, what we are mainly going to talk about is how, from the very same age brackets, how we are going to help parents at home with age groups of early years, primary, and adolescence. We do have apologies. We do have certain problems in terms of internet connectivity, and that is the reason why one of our presenters is not here, but probably she will join in anytime, so don't worry. Let me introduce the panel to you. Most of you are already familiar with these two people, but let's quickly have a little discussion, a little introduction, and then we will start our formal discussion on the topic that we have selected today. Amna, would you like to please introduce yourself?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. This is Amna Ghulam Hussain. I'm basically an early childhood education expert, and currently also I'm working with a couple of public and private sector organizations in terms of a trainer, and there are a number of teachers and parents who are getting the training of 3 and 6 months. So I will be basically talking about the importance of play at home, and how can we engage the young learners through play and give them certain concepts, develop certain skills. And I will also be sharing some of the low cost materials that parents can easily make at home, and they can work with the children. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Amna. Let's start with Fawzia. So, Fawzia, would you like to please introduce yourself? Okay, Fawzia, we lost you.
I think there's an electricity problem.
Yes, there is some problem. No worries, everybody. Let's start. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment on our comment box. If you have any questions, please feel free to connect to us. Just write, and we will definitely be giving you the responses. Fawzia is back. Fawzia, chalo, just introduce yourself, and then just introduce yourself.
Amna has done that? Okay.
Yes, Amna has done that.
Okay. Good afternoon and assalamu alaikum to everyone. I'm Fawzia Nawaz, and I'm a science teacher educator, and today I'm here with you for a little presentation.
All right. So Fawzia has also introduced herself. Amna is also introduced. And again, as I told you, that these faces are not new to most of us. We all know, and we also know. Okay, Amna is saying Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Amna, welcome. You were there yesterday as well. And you have really become a great support to all of us. Thank you, Amna, for being there. All right, let's start, everybody. Just to let you all know today's program. We are here together for about 45 to 50 minutes, and we will mainly be talking about practical strategies that can help parents and that can help teachers while staying during this lockdown period. Amna is going to talk about her age bracket, which is early years. Fawzia will definitely be talking about how can we support children in education for adolescence age. I will take at the end, I will be taking supporting strategies for primary students. We will be having one-to-one discussion with all of you, and any questions in between, please feel free to share. So Amna, over to you. The question that we have for today is how parents can support children's learning during this pandemic. And I would really like you to share practical experiences, practical strategies to support parents of early years.
All right. Thank you, Kiran. All right. First of all, if I'll ask you a word, which is play, what comes in your mind? Being an adult or being a kid, whatever. But since I think that the adults are watching us, so whether you're a teacher, whether you're a parent, whether you are a single, whether you are living with families, when you hear the word play, what comes to your mind? Like, for example, if I hear this word, I feel excitement. Okay, something new is coming to me. Something which will be enjoyed by me. Something I will be learning through which, and something that is really, really fun. Okay.
Okay.
So even at my age, if I would say that, the word play really excites me, it triggers me. So just imagine the young learners, the ECE kids that we are talking about. When you tell them that, okay, come on, let's play. Okay. So you can imagine what thing goes in their mind. Okay. They must be thinking that, okay, it's something that is really, really exciting. There's something which the teacher is going to bring something in the class. It could be something new, it could be something old, or maybe the methods or strategies would be new. So in that way, I would say that, rather than imposing the academics through chalk and talk method, we can have a number of strategies through which, the kids can learn the concepts, they can develop their fine gross motor skills, plus the word fun and enjoyment would be there. So I would just like to share a little bit of literature. Just a second. Yeah, is it there, Kiran?
Just 1 minute, Amna. Yes, it's there. It's very much there.
All right, thank you. So learning through play. What is play? As I just mentioned, that what is play? Play is basically the work that is done by children, and it consists of a number of activities that involves their behavior, that involves their social and activities, the psychomotor thing. So basically, it's like the holistic development is involved when we talk about play. All right, and it is basically, it comes from within the child, which means it's like, the child builds the knowledge by themselves. Imagination is there, and of course it comes from one to one individual child. Okay, it's not a group thing. It comes the child takes the initiative by himself or herself, and then the child connects with their peers, and the fun becomes it takes another turn. So basically, and it is self-directed. The child has got his own imaginative skills involved in that. So this is a very, very small definition about what is play. Now, why is it important? Why do we always say that, learning should be fun, learning should be done through play, uh, there should not be a pressure given to the children? So why we are saying that? We are saying that because play is an important part in the child's development. And when we talk about development, we all know that we are talking about the holistic development. So it helps the young children to develop their brains development skills, enhance their language and communication. Plus, it also helps them to socialize with each other. They also get to know different people, different environment. They also get to know the different type of material which they are going to interact with. And since they are going to interact with the material and with their peers, definitely some little problems will arise. So they also become problem solvers also. It's not only the teacher or the parents who should be intervening every time. Learning through play enhances them to, and it encourages them to become problem solvers also. And regarding the skills, when I talk about, it's basically the fine and the gross motor skills, because they are going to use their small muscles as well as the large muscles when they are going to play. Okay, with different things, they are going to interact with different things. All right. Play is far more powerful for children, however, than many parents realize. Parents actually at this stage they feel that, okay, अगर बच्चा खेल रहा है तो खेल रहा है खेल रहा है खेल रहा है. I've also met some of the parents who complained to me. They said that when the child comes home, we ask them that आज स्कूल में क्या किया. The child always says khela. Next day khela. तीसरे दिन khela. So the parents came running to me and said कि भाई ये क्या हो रहा है? The child is always saying कि हमने खेला खेला खेला. So we are not giving money, we are not giving fees कि बच्चा खेलने आए स्कूल में. It's rather than पढ़ाई का काम. So I asked, okay, fine. I gave them a couple of questions. I said, okay, fine. You go and ask your child that whether they know their colors, whether they know their animals, or whatever academic things were there in the syllabus. The parents came after a few days and they said कि नहीं बच्चे को ये सारी चीजें आती हैं. तो मैंने कहा it means कि the child is learning at school, okay, rather than saying कि वो खेल रहा है, वो खेल खेल में सीख रहा है, right? So this is basically the gist behind the learning through play is कि बच्चे को पता ना चले और वो खेल खेल में सारे concepts आपके सीख रहा है. So researchers and educators across the world have found out that play can help enrich learning, and develop key learning skills such as inquiry, expressions, experimentation, and teamwork, which I've already spoken about. Okay, what is a meaningful play? ठीक है, now meaningful, the word meaningful means कि कोई इसका साथ कोई मकसद हो. So the basic thing is that when the child is actively participating in the play activity, it means it is a meaningful play. ठीक है, rather than कि वो गुस्से में चिड़चिड़ा के या नाराज होके खिलौनों के साथ बैठ गया है और तोड़ फोड़ कर रहा है, so that is not a meaningful play. ठीक है, the child might be upset because of something and the child is not getting involved with the material which is provided. So meaningful play is when the child is really active with the material, the child is trying to learn. And one more thing I would like to mention over here is that at times children have got the habit of saying something when they are alone. Self-talking जिसको कहते हैं. So I have also come across parents जो कहते हैं कि भाई अकेले अकेले वो पता नहीं क्या क्या बातें कर रहा होता है, कोई गाड़ी को लेके बैठा है या बच्ची है वो गुड़िया को लेके बैठी है, वो पता नहीं क्या क्या बोल रही होती है. तो ये तो पागलपन की निशानी नहीं है. So let me clear this thing कि ये पागलपन की निशानी नहीं है. It's the way the child is interacting with the object, and indirectly the child is really learning a lot. So when you can intervene at some time and you can tell them, you can ask the child कि अच्छा मुझे बताओ आपकी गुड़िया क्या कर रही है या what is she wearing. The child is definitely going to respond. जो वो अकेले अकेले में बात कर रहा था वो अब आपके साथ communicate करेगा और वो आपको बताएगा या बताएगी कि उसने क्या फील कर रहे हैं या whatever things what is going in their mind वो आपसे share करेंगे, right? So it gives a child a choice about what he or she wants to do. Now over here again I would like to go back to the books and academics. जो हम करते हैं normally, जो हमारा chalk and talk वाला method होता है, the teacher says open the book, take out page number so and start reading that. So rather than this, if you can give the child the book or maybe 2-3 couple of books and then you say that अच्छा अपनी पसंद की आज आप book उठाओ, all right, and then start reading it, try to read the words, yeah, try to figure out the pictures and then you can discuss them. So बच्चे को choice देना बहुत important है, जो कि हम लोग high scope learning में भी बात करते हैं कि choice is really very important. Then the child should feel fun and enjoyable. Okay, आपकी जो भी मटेरियल आप प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं, इट शुड बी एज अप्रोप्रिएट. आपकी जो पिक्चर्स बुक्स में बनी हुई हैं, वट एवर टेक्स्ट इज रिटन, इट शुड बी चाइल्ड फ्रेंडली. एंड देन आई ऑलरेडी मेंशन कि वट एवर कम्स विद इन द चाइल्ड, ये वो उसकी अपनी इनर इंट्रिंसिक मोटिवेशन होती है. आपको फोर्स नहीं करना पड़ता कि आप यही काम करो या ये काम करो. सो and then it creates a risk factor environment where kids can experiment and try new ideas. वो अगर एक खिलौने को तोड़ भी रहा है, जो कि अक्सर पेरेंट्स की शिकायत होती है कि गाड़ी दी थी रिमोट कंट्रोल उसने तोड़ दी, इट्स नॉट एक्चुअली कि उसने तोड़ दी, वो इतना इंक्विजिटिव होता है उसके अंदर देखने के लिए कि उसके अंदर क्या है. वो एक गाड़ी तोड़ेगा, 2 गाड़ी तोड़ेगा, उसको जब अंदर से सेटिस्फेक्शन हो जाएगी कि अच्छा इस तरह के इंजन विंजन अंदर चीजें होती हैं, बिलीव मी वो तीसरी और चौथी गाड़ी नहीं तोड़ेगा. ये मेरे अपने बच्चों के साथ में अपना पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस भी शेयर कर रही हूँ साथ में, ठीक है. सो किड्स आर इंक्विजिटिव. आप उनको जितना बोलोगे कि इस चीज को नहीं खोलो, नहीं तोड़ो, नहीं फेंको, वो उतना ही करेंगे, राइट? सो some of the suggested activities that I would like to share over here, they are, I would just like to close this thing first, and I think I'm back. Yes. All right. So we all have got certain boxes at home, or even if not, then we can develop our own boxes. Okay. So I'll share some of the materials. I hope, Kiran, you just let me know whether you people can see the material or not. All right.
Amna, you are on a solo frame and I think your material is quite visible. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kiran. All right. Now this is a cube. ठीक है, हमने हमेशा जो है वो क्यूब को एक डाइस फॉर्म में देखा है, जो हम लूडो या स्नेक्स एंड लैडर्स के लिए खेलते हैं, ठीक है. सो रादर देन हैविंग दैट, आप इसके ऊपर, या मैंने वॉवल्स लिखे हुए हैं, इफ यू पीपल कैन सी, A-E-I-O-U. It depends on the level of the children. I'm just sharing some of the ideas, ठीक है. आप इसको अपने उसमें चेंज भी कर सकते हैं. Now, since there are 5 vowels, ठीक है, और क्यूब के we all know that there are 6 sides. So you can ask the child that, okay, fine, throw the dice, you roll the dice, and whatever letter comes in, okay, whatever alphabet comes in, make a word with that. Okay, the starting letter could be this, or if you are doing 3-letter words, so the middle letter should be this, whatever. It can be thousands and millions of ideas. Now, since a cube has got 6 sides, what about the 6th side? Because vowels are 5. So I have put a question mark over here, which you can say the child that, okay, fine, you can select an alphabet of your own choice, maybe from these 5 vowels or maybe from other consonants. So the question marks can be of various things. You can use it very differently. You can also say that, okay, fine, this is an incentive for you. You can skip your turn, or this can be, you can roll the dice again. All right, so it's multiple things. Now this was for English. Another one I'll show you is for Urdu. All right, so different alphabets are written over here. You can see, you can tell the child that, okay, लाम से क्या शुरू होता है, आपको उस कमरे में लाम से बनी हुई कितनी चीजें नजर आ रही हैं, and you know, things like that. If the child can draw, you can tell कि अच्छा बे से शुरू होने वाली कौन सी चीजें हैं, आप कोई भी 2 चीजें बना के दिखाओ मुझे. So in that case, you can enhance the child's drawing skills also. Maybe you can give them a small worksheet और उनको कहो कि जितनी चीजें बे से शुरू हो रही हैं उसमें रंग भरिए. ठीक है? So there could be various ideas. All right. Then another thing I would like to show you is, which is my favorite also, and I'm sure Fauzia will also say that it was her favorite also. This is a toilet roll. We all know that, okay? And what do we do after using the toilet? With the tissue paper, we throw this toilet roll. So instead of throwing it away, we can utilize it. Now this is for 3-letter words. It can roll easily, okay? All the 3 sides can be rolled. Now the vowels are written in the center, the consonants are there on the sides. So it could be used either way. You can ask the child to make a word, for example, pen. So the child is going to roll this and will make a pen. All right. Now we have to be very, very sure that once when a word is made, the other words should not be ready. Okay, the child needs to, these are nonsense words, of course, but for meaningful words, it should not be like all the words are ready then. Okay, so again, if you want a child to make bin, so all right, so things like that. So again, you can use the similar technique for maths, for Urdu, for any other thing. Now this was for 3-letter words. This is for 2-letter words. Okay? At, and because the child starts by making nonsense words, so we need to accept that. Okay, so again, you can see that this is rolling. Both the papers, both the lists are being rolled nicely. It should not be too loose that it is coming out all the time, and it should not be too tight that the child cannot roll it. So these also can be made easily at home, and believe me, it will hardly take less than 2 minutes. Okay, you can take 2 or 3 strips of papers, and then you can easily write down the alphabets on it, and then you can paste it. All right. Okay. All right. The other thing is that, coming to my favorite, my personal thing, the puppets. So these are ice cream sticks. You can make different animal puppets through it. All right. I hope the viewers are trying to guess what animals are these. And you can ask the child to narrate a story or share their experiences, or if you want, they can create their own story, or you can say that like old McDonald's had a farm, something like that. I hope the puppets are visible. All right. This also takes hardly 5 to 8 minutes for per puppet to get ready. You need to color it. You can paint it. You can use markers. You can use whatever colors you have, and then you can have a box filled. Like if you people can see, this is my box. So I have kept all the puppets over here very safely, and then I can just cover it, because making material is not that difficult, but the important thing is that how you're going to preserve the material, how you're going to store the material so that the kids can use it again and again. Another type of puppets that you can easily make at home are the finger puppets. Okay, so again, you can see that I'm a very much animal lover, so I've got mostly animals with me. Okay, I'll just show a couple of puppets to you. Again, they can be used for storytelling. They can be used for the difference to differentiate between wild and tame animals, or jungle animals, or whatever type of animal you want to see. Okay, so this also takes hardly 5 to 8 minutes for one puppet to get ready, starting from the scratch. I have made these puppets with different types of materials. You can use paper also, you can use felt, you can use, different types of material. And inshallah, in future sessions, we will be working on material development. So in that, I can just teach you how to make these puppets. Very quick, I don't know how much time I have, but these are bottle caps if you are using Allpurs or if you are using milk pack at home. These are simple bottle caps, okay? So the only thing you need to do is either write Alif Bepe on it, yeah, ABC, yeah, 1, 2, 3, whatever. These are for sure, cheer words, the blends and all those things that we talk about. And then plain alphabets are also written away. Again, the storage is there. You can see a box with a lid. So words, so the child can easily sit down, lay the mat, or if not, easily lay the alphabets on the floor, and then they can make words. After once the child has made the words, you can tell them, okay, now you can open your copy or your notebook or your worksheet, whatever, and start copying down those words. So indirectly, you have given a very good concept, and rather than writing the words on the board, you have asked the children to work it them by themselves, make the words. You can do the correction then and there, and the child can copy the same words in his or her copy. So the child will feel that, okay, this is my work, okay? Or the child will take more interest, of course, because the child says that, okay, ye mera kaam hai. The child will definitely feel proud, and then this material can be used again and again. Now, once if you know that the child is through with these blends and everything, the only thing you have to do is take some remover, ठीक है, या थिनर आपका होता है, take a piece of cotton, और ये सारे alphabets वगैरह जिस पे लिखे हैं ये clean हो जाएंगे बिल्कुल. So these bottle caps can be reused again and again. और पर बच्चा आपके पास ये बहुत सारे bottle caps जमा होके आप घर में रख सकते हैं for different concepts, so that once the child is tired with English, आपने उसको कोई और subject उठा के दे दिया, you can use Urdu through dice, and then English through this material, and then maths through some other material. So there could be various ideas. You only need to start collecting your garbage from today. I would recommend that, so that in the coming sessions you can use all those things. Okay. Thank you, Kiran.
Right. Thank you, Amna. This was indeed impressive, and I don't think we are left with anything after this extremely creative and interesting session. Amna, there are certain questions, and I really would like you to answer them now, and then we will move forward to Fawzia, because
Sure.
most of the people who have actually commented, they are in complete agreement with you, but there are few questions which are very relevant. So the first question is, while you were discussing about books and letting the child develop learning habits and reading habits, so the question was, books comes later. Before that, a lot of learning material is used to teach and converse with the students. But now the parents do not have all those materials to teach their kids. What would be the best resource to use?
See, the best resources what I mentioned earlier is that start collecting all the junk, involve your child, and develop your own material. Okay, so there's a lot that you can do, and involve the child to develop that material, so that child may also learn the worth of it. कि हमने खुद बनाया है, they have to use it. Okay, so reading, even the books can be made at home. I would be definitely sharing in one of the sessions how to make reading books for children. So there could be various ideas. There are quiet books also where the children doesn't start their reading and writing, so they can work on development of skills. So involve the children to develop the material by themselves, because at the moment the markets are not open. I would never suggest to, and even if they're open, I would never suggest personally to get the market material for your child.
Right. Thank you, Amna. I think this answers the question. There's another one which is somewhat related to the same idea. As times are difficult and we can't send our child to school, people are choosing homeschooling. So should we start with sounds, or would teaching letters be a better option?
See, I would say that sounds are much better, because the child is comfortable with the sounds at the moment. All right. So start with the sounds, but make sure the phonics, what you are using, the sounds are accurate. Okay? Because normally, अगर मैं teachers को पूछती हूँ या parents को कि what is the sound of the letter A, तो वो कहते हैं A. All right. So for that, we have really developed, I would not say a poem or anything, but a story sort of thing, which just gives a help to the parents and teachers what is the actual sound of the word.
Okay.
So we will be sharing that as soon.
We will definitely be, yes, viewers, we will definitely be having a number of more sessions by Amna, where she will actually be teaching you not only different strategies and creative material, but she will also be helping parents do homeschooling at home. So stay tuned. We are coming up with these sessions very, very soon. Amna, there are two more comments which have come, and they are somewhat that you have spoken about, but I would like to add further to it. One of our viewers is saying that use DIY to create material ideas which are there, and they will also learn how to recycle things from early age in a new way. Blending and segmenting of words technique is another idea that parents can easily use at home to develop reading habits and learning habits, right? So anything if you would like to add to it?
No, I would just say this only, that involve your children, take ideas from them, okay? Although you know that you have got the ideas in your mind, but do ask the children that what do they want to do, okay? What type of material, what type of book do they want to read? What type of material they want to use to develop the material, like ice cream sticks are there. Give them choices. Give them papers, colored papers, give them bottle caps, give them box cards, give them cartons. Tell them this is all material that we have at home. So what is the particular thing that you would start from? So they will select, either they will say ice cream sticks se aaj kaam karte hain, okay, fine. Eggshell se aaj kaam karte hain. To start involving them, start taking choice from them, and then, you know, give them chance to explore.
Okay, just the last one that I'm taking for Amna here. Amna, one of our viewers is saying, my child never sits peacefully to learn all these things and just throws away all the material resources. What to be done in such a situation?
This is, I know who's asking this. This is a very common situation. Okay, this is a very common situation. The only thing is that, you know, you need to sit with the child, even if the child is not willing to do. All right, create some sort of story for them, for more like moral stories or something, जिसमें आप थोड़ा सा उनको मैसेज कन्वे करो कि अगर आपको जो है वो कोई उठा के इस तरह से फेंक देगा तो आपको कैसा फील होगा. Although the things, the material is non-living thing, but yet you really need to tell them कि देखो आपको कोई फेंक देगा या आपको इस तरह से चोट लग जाएगी तो how would you feel? अच्छा तो नहीं लगेगा ना. तो इसको भी हम प्यार से लेके बैठते हैं. There are number of strategies that parents would love to do with their kids in this regards, क्योंकि हर बच्चा अलग होता है. तो एक कोई strategy में particular नहीं बता सकती हूँ, but I can give you different ideas for that.
Thank you, Amna. I think this was indeed a very, very good answer.
Yeah. Just one thing I need to add, and the material should be age appropriate. ठीक है ना, अगर वो बच्चे को आपने बहुत ऐसी heavy चीजें दे देंगे तो फिर वो of course भागेगा. ठीक है ना, वो बैठेगा नहीं.
And very good, in fact, Amna, and there's a very interesting comment which consolidates your entire learning, that if you're giving these opportunities to children at home, you are actually giving them a quality time that they can spend with their parents. So it's actually a very good idea. So thank you, Amna. Thank you very much indeed. Still, everybody, if you still have questions, please feel free to write them here, but we will take them at the end. Now from here, I'll straight away move on to Fawzia. And Fawzia will basically be talking about supporting children and supporting parents, specifically of the age group of adolescents. Why we have picked up early years and adolescents, everybody, because it is in our observation that there's specifically two stratas of parents who are really struggling with children these days. One is the early years, and one others, those who are in their adolescence age. They are in the home for about 4 months now. Online teaching is not helping them the way we were thinking that they will get benefited from, but they are not. So that was the reason why we thought that let's talk about these two, specifically these two stratas, and help parents understand how can they support. So again, the same request. If you have any questions, please feel free, write them here, and we will definitely try to answer. Over to you, Fawzia.
All right, thank you, Kiran. And thank you, Amna, for this wonderful actually discussion. It actually supports what I'm going to talk about. So what I'll do, I'm going to share my presentation, then I will continue with it, and just let me know if it is visible so that I can continue from there. Just let me know when it is visible. Is it visible?
It's visible. Just go on the slide share, please. It's visible.
Yes.
Okay. That's it?
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Before I continue with the strategies, what we were talking about with the adolescents group, I will start with a little background. That why this age group is important and why parents need support in that. So the thing is that we all are aware of it. The situation is very unpredictable and we don't know what is going to happen in future. So everybody is like thinking like what is going to happen and how to deal with it now. Now, when I reflect on that, I realize that it's basically an ongoing role which is coming in, and these are the three roles which I have just mentioned here. That is the caregiving, counseling, and mentorship. Now, these roles are already being carried out, but I think these are more needed at this time as compared to the earlier, because earlier children were going to the school. This particular age group was going to the school. They had socialization. They had friends, teachers. And some of the teachers in some cases were their mentors or counselors, and they have their friends and they have other social activities. So we need to understand the context basically that now these things are not available to them. So now there is a double, triple role of parents at home or the family members at home basically. And it's going to continue for a number of years or for some time basically for this double or triple role. Now, what is that role basically? How it can be supported? Now, other aspect of this is basically we need to consider that cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. And I just explained, and I think Amna has very clearly talked about that. So I will talk about that as well very briefly. Cognitive means basically thinking. So thinking is the important aspect of any human development. Either it is early childhood or it's basically the adolescence. So cognition is very important. Thinking continues. Now, direction of thinking varies with everybody. Psychomotor is all we understand. It's basically the physical activities, psychomotor, in which they move around, they do some activities. So it's basically integrated sort of skills basically that is required in activities they engage themselves in. Affective is the very important one. Fawzia Gulab is not here today, but I think she would be emphasizing on that more because it's related to the values. What values we carry, what values we value basically. That's very important. So the story actually revolves around these three things altogether if you look at that. So it's a whole matter of holistic development. Now, if we look at the holistic development aspect is now there is a little bit of discontinuation in that. So cognition, definitely they are having. Psychomotor skills may be limited, but still they are having some sort of activities. Values, yes, they have learned some values. Some of the values they are basically developing. Some of the values they are trying to understand and make sense of it. Now, this is very important and we need to keep that in mind that these are very important. I'm proposing 4 of the major areas, or you can call it strategies, because I cannot give the recipe to anything. And I'll tell you why. What is the reason? Why is the reason that I can't give you the recipe? Because this age group itself, adolescents, is a very complicated age group, and we all understand that. Nobody will deny that. So you are not aware of their emotions, their feelings, their actions, what they are thinking, what they would like to do. So they are already confused. Apologies for that, but that's the age which is the most confusing age. So now what we can understand and look at a context, and we can reflect back and see that how we can help these children. Now, helping these children is very important. We start with the basics, and basics basically is the well-being. So well-being of these children is very important. And now when I talk about well-being, it's basically the physical health and the mental health as well. So physical health, when I talk about, or mental health I talk about like eating well, eating on time, and eating healthy. That's very important. And if possible, they should have some kind of physical activity, physical exercise, running, jumping, climbing, whatever is possible within the boundary, whatever, within the circumstances, basically these days. Now, the other aspect is the mental health. Mental health is very important, and we'll talk about how we can address this mental health, because if you read a lot of news and if you read a lot of literature these days, what is coming up on social media and everywhere, you will see that there are mental health issues which people are encountering, and they need help with that. So it's basically, in psychology, basically we talk about that prevention is better than cure. In medical science or psychology, you can call it, we talk about that precaution is better than cure, basically. So before it happens, it's better to strengthen the mental health rather than addressing it when it's at the peak and we are not able to handle that. So how to maintain that, basically. Now, if we read literature and listen to different people, or read about it and reflect on our own experience, we'll realize that mental health is nothing but our own routine and our own reflection and what we do. So with reference to that, the very important aspect, because as humans, we are social beings, right? We need connection, we need other people. We need to talk about, we need to spend time with some other people, right? Socialize ourselves. So it's very important, and that is the gap these days, if we understand. So talk to them about their day. It's very important. Although it seems like repeating yourself or doing that because they're in front of you, you know how they are spending their day. But sometimes what happens that when you talk to them, you come up with something which you did not realize or understood. So it's very important. So have some kind of time spent each day, wherever is possible. Talk to them about their day. How did they spend their day today? Plan things together for the next day. That's also very important. Now, and the other thing is engagement. Now, interaction has a connection with engagement, basically. What sort of engagement you will propose, basically. Now, healthy activities it could be, and I think some of the activities are like drawing, painting. This age group likes to do a lot of reading books of their own interest, watching movies, television, and things like that. So identify some healthy activities which basically help them to develop, help them to grow, and help them to stay mentally healthy so they can maintain their mental health. So that's very important. So it's connected, basically, well-being, interaction, and engagement. Now, indoor games could be a possibility where they are playing together, and brain teasers. Lots of games are available on internet, on some of the, and you ask these children, basically, they are aware of these games, by the way. And when you talk to them at school, you see them playing these games, basically, mind teasers, riddles, and story writing. So these all sorts of things, actually, they do very nicely. So maybe if it's a possibility, online games we can generate where they are interacting with their friends for some time, for limited hours, not for the whole day. That's not recommended. Some riddles, mind teasers, brain teasers, basically, in which they have to think, they have to find out the answers to complicated problems. Because this age group very uniquely like problem solving. So problem solving is something we can engage these children with, maybe a small problem at home also. So involve them, engage them in that. So that also helps, because this is the best possible thing they can do these days, basically. Now, the other very important aspect is maintaining routine. Now, I've heard people saying that it's holidays, we don't have to do anything, so what is the purpose of having routine? I think that's not a very good idea, basically. Sleeping time and wake up time should have some kind of routine, whether it is, suggested from experience or from listening to people who are healthy and who have written about it. It's basically early to ride is a good practice, basically. You should rise early and do whatever activities you would like to do. So early to bed has its own benefits, basically. So you are sleeping early as well. So it basically not only helps you to maintain a routine, but it also has multiple benefits to your own health. So now you see it's a connection with your well-being, it's a connection with your mental health, it has connection with your physical health as well. So it's very important. Maintaining routine is very important. Now, maintaining routine, if you look at that, so plan something for the next day with children, to them, whatever is possible. If you can't go outside, maybe you can plan something inside the house. Maybe some indoor games or some activities, watching a movie together, maybe these kind of things, whatever is possible. Early to rise is very much basically suggested. Other thing is healthy breakfast has its own perks. So healthy breakfast on time, if you wake up early and you have healthy breakfast, I think it does its magic on already. So these are a few of the suggestions. The other thing is some of the parents are, or maybe, I'm not sure about it, but I'm assuming that they are worried about that what these children are going to do, they are not studying. If I look at this particular age group, I would say that this age group has already developed their academic skills to a certain level. So it's not like for early years that they need to develop the basic skills. They have basic skills. They can read, they can write, they do They can do basic mathematics also. I personally feel that other people might have disagreement with that. So that you don't need to stress too much about it. So keep a balance with the work, and someday if they don't work, that's fine. I don't see a problem in that, because they can spend time in reading a book on that day, maybe talking to you, maybe helping you out at home, doing some other activity rather than just working on their academics. So I think at this particular time, academics are not very important at this time. Yes, they need to develop the skills. So there are other areas of skills which they can develop, like public speaking. So there are lots of short courses or programs which are running online, which they can find out on their own. They are very good and they are very smart with technology. I'm sure they will figure out some of the courses which they have interest in, because when we find any courses for them, they might not be very interested. But yes, we can give them suggestion that these are the possibilities. Maybe they can develop their public speaking skill, maybe they can develop their mathematics skill. So there are lots of websites which teach basic mathematics, basic language learning, basic writing skills. So instead of just spending time on their textbooks or memorizing those things which are there in the textbooks, or working with the worksheets and all that, and they also have, it's important, but I think it's time for developing the skills, new skills, which are required for future. So maybe in future they require different kind of skill, maybe public speaking, maybe marketing. I don't know. I'm just talking about it from the top of my head. So these children are more interested in what kind of job they will be going to, what kind of career they will be going to. So let them explore that and help them explore that, basically, because we don't have any support for career counseling as such. So I think this is high time they will develop these kind of skills and engage themselves in that, so that when the time comes, they are able to use those skills. So those skills will be definitely transferable to them, and they will be able to decide on what they would like to do. So they won't feel lost when we get back after this situation. So I think it's all right if we try to keep a balance, and some days we don't basically work or take a break and things like that. So taking break is very important. And very important thing, what we sometimes feel that we plan everything for them. This particular age group, they don't like that. So don't plan anything for them. Negotiate with them. Ask them to plan with you, so that they can see what works and what doesn't work, basically. So once and twice, if they've developed that trust, so I think it's a good time to develop that trust building and that bonding, so that they understand what are the important things they need to look forward to. Talk to them through, so what will be the benefits they are doing right now, and how will it help them in future. So I think engaging them with other multiple skills, which maybe school is not able to help them at the moment, I think it will be more beneficial for them. Now, a little of caution, like when I talked about balance of work and entertainment, I would especially emphasize on the use as time spent sites. That's very important, because social media sites are good, but its overusage is not good at all. I mean, I think we will not argue that. Some of us would agree with that, basically, because there is no age restriction on it. That's the negative aspect of it. And there is a lot of cyberbullying which is happening, and some of the parents or children themselves, they are not aware of it. So I think it's very important that how much time they spend on social media should be reduced to the level where it is not making them anxious or depressive and things like that. So I think there should be some kind of limitation to how much time they spend on social media. Talking to friends is good, but there are other mediums also, not only social media. But yes, limited time should be kept on that, and more time should be covered, or more percentage of their hours should be spent on learning something. What are they going to gain out of it? What is that something they are learning each day? So that's very important. Now, last but not least, I think this is the time, and I will again emphasize Fawzia Gulab's point. I think if she was here, she would have talked about the importance of intrinsic motivation. I've talked about earlier that values, this is the best time to strengthen the values. And I think we can show them the worth of intrinsic motivation over extrinsic. I will explain that, what do I mean, and some of the people might have guessed it already. Intrinsic motivation is something which is within, right? No matter we have things, we don't have things, we are happy because we know we have. If we don't have this thing, that's right. So we will work no matter what is going to happen. So applying to the current situation, so it doesn't matter if these challenges are there, if I'm not going to school these days, but I have other avenues, I can learn. So it's basically changing your attitude altogether. So that's very important. So it's not only that if I get the result, if I get the report card, if I get other perks or benefits, then only I will be motivated to work. So that should not be the case. We should be motivated to work in no matter what condition, because it's within and we know it will benefit us, it will help us. So this is very important lesson we all need to teach these kids and help these kids understand that we need to learn the worth of intrinsic motivation. Like for a simple example, helping anyone in need basically, right? Maybe helping a friend with some learning thing or in any other way, that is a good place to start with. Helping a sibling at home, that's another place to start with. Right? So helping someone who is not able to help themselves will basically help you to understand the importance of intrinsic motivation. So this will basically go a long way, and this will help them to keep them calm and stable and up to the point and focus. So with this, I would say that if you look at all these elements which I've mentioned, I won't call it strategies, but I would call it basically some of the captions or some of the areas which we all need to tap into. Well-being, interaction, engagement, routine, balance of work and entertainment. And yes, balance of work, entertainment, when it comes to that, social media, network sites are very important aspect of it. And we need to, I think I will end my discussion with saying that reflection is very important at this point, basically, and it's all stages. So basically talking through that, how you are passing the day, how you are doing things, how it can change, whether they are happy, not happy, why it is the case, those questioning, talking to each other, I think that is very helpful. So that should be the case, and I'll end my presentation with this. Thank you very much, Kiran.
All right, Fawzia, thank you very much. I think you have rightly pointed out most of the areas which are related to adolescence. I would just like to add two things here before I come to the comments and questions which everybody is posting here. One thing that while we were talking about the early years, and I did share about spending quality time, even for this particular age or even for the age of the primary students, you need to spend some quality time. Aisha raised a question about time management, that discussed something about shed some light on time management as parents and teachers force children to stay. Aisha, Fawzia has very rightly stated in her discussion that we need to set routines. Now, these routines are not as rigid as the ones that we have it in schools. They are flexible routines, but it has to come with a mutual consensus of both parents and children at home. Because you see, you can't have a very strict system at home the way you have it at school. The child needs to feel that home environment in which he or she is, because that's the security that we have at home. And the child also needs to understand the importance of learning at home in the presence of parents. So for that, the very first thing that we all need to do is scheduling a time routine. Now, it is not necessary that it is important for the child to start studying at the morning, not necessary. If the child is studying today in the morning, the child can read some other time whenever he or she feels comfortable in. But yes, once a day. Right? Once a day. If the child would like to spend some time on computer or on laptop, I don't think there's any problem. Yes, the screen time is increased, but there are various educational, interesting material available for them that can help them grow academically as well. I accept what Fawzia was saying, and I will in fact vouch for it, that this is not necessary at this time that we focus on the school curriculum that they are studying. Teaching, learning is beyond the curriculum, the prescribed curriculum. If a child is able to understand what is happening, is aware and is able to comprehend, that's also learning. If a child can help a mother at home and the ratio of the spices that has been used, that's also learning. If the child can help in reorganizing and structuring the furniture in the house and give it a new look, that's also learning. So everything where the mind is engaged is kind of learning, and that is what, as educationists, we are really pushing and promoting parents to do. Do give them choices. At every stage, choice giving is extremely important. Now, when it comes to time management, you will see, this is what I always speak about when I talk about integrated learning. The world is now moving towards integrated learning. We are coming out of compartmentalized zones, right? STEM is something that is very much in these days. I know that people do have little concerns about STEM, but you can give them material at any age. Let them create. Let them construct, let them come up with their own ideas. And the moment when they will do it, you will see that your child will start learning, and their learning will be more concrete, their learning will be more rigorous, and will be lifelong, right? So there are few questions, Amna and Fawzia, that I would like you to share. There's a question, and a very interesting question, and I think I will take it from both of you. How can parents maintain their patience level all the time, and especially the moms, because they have to deal with everything? A very relevant question, I must say. So Amna, first you, and then we'll take it.
And then I'll talk about it.
All right. Before I just move on to this question, I would just like to add something over here, which Kiran, you just spoken about the daily routines, especially for early years learning. We do have daily routines, and we suggest that only that even in schools, the teacher should be working on daily routines rather than on a fixed timetable. All right. So the similar method can be followed at home also. The child can sit with the parents and with the siblings and whatever, and they can design their own routine for the next day. They can select the time for play, they can select the time for house chores, they can select the time for whatever activities they want to do. It could include the laptop and the mobile phone also, but to a limit. All right, it should not be more than 15 to 20 minutes will be max. All right, and that too, what are they going to watch on that? Okay, it should be somehow related to educational purposes, not all the time. There could be some entertainment also going on. It should be a combination. It should not be always watching YouTube and cartoons. It should be balanced. All right, so the daily routines can be followed at home also. What will be the time for your lunch? What preparations are you going to do? How are you going to help your mom, your dad? All those things can be a part of that daily routine. All right, coming back to your very interesting question regarding the patients. All right, now we all know that there's a lot of work on specifically on mothers. All right, so we should divide that workload. Whoever elders are there at home, it could be the father. All right, now everything should be divided between, if the parents are there, it should be divided between two of them. All right, what is your responsibility as a husband, what is my responsibility as a wife? All right, and then we both have to work together for the betterment of the child, so that in like if suppose the mother is getting hyper, the father should intervene over there, take the load. All right, let's sit, let your mother work in the kitchen for about 30 more minutes, and then she's going to come and join us. By the time we'll do this thing. All right, so this thing could be any activity. It could be anything. It could be maybe cleaning of the bike also. It could be cleaning of the wheels also, if you have got a car or whatever. So we have to divide and work accordingly in collaboration. It's not only the father who's 100% responsible, it's not only the mother. And if there are grandparents at home, even it's their responsibility. We could tell them, okay, fine, 10 minutes you have to sit with them and share some sort of story. So either they are going to share the stories or their childhood stories, or you can share any of the stories that you have learned from your mom or from the mobile phone, maybe from internet. So share that with your nani, with your dadis, with your grandparents, whoever is there at home. So work has to be divided. Otherwise, patience level will just, burst out and there will be no control over it.
Sorry, Amna, the response is dad doesn't help at all.
It will take some time, but it will help.
A bitter reality, but yes.
Yes.
Okay, Fawzia, the same question to you.
Okay. If I heard correctly, it's basically time management and keeping patience, correct?
Yes.
I will give a very simple answer to that. we say if we want to help somebody, we have to help ourselves. A very common phrase, and I think many of us have heard it. So it's very important that we maintain our mental health and then help these children. So patience, I think, is at our level also, at adults level also, we have to practice. That's very important. Because if we don't have patience, we will not be able to be the counselor or the mentor. Because if we understand the role of a counselor and a mentor, basically you need to be listening more and talking less. That's the key to it. So you basically extract the things from the learner. Although it becomes very complicated, I mean technical, that you need to learn these skills. Yes, I agree, you need training for that. But I think with experience also, sometimes we learn that how the mentoring can be done and how counseling can be done. Because maybe in our experience, we had a good mentor, could be parent or elder brother or somebody who could be your mentor, not only the teacher, but it could be the case as well. So the thing is, we need to reflect on that. How can I help? So if you want to help these children, we first start helping ourselves. So we need to learn to be patient that yes, this is a difficult time. They are dealing with difficult time. We are dealing with difficult time. They are confused. I'm confused. So I think we all are in the same boat. So we need to have patience. And when these children see that there is some kind of change and people are receptive, people are understanding, I think they will understand and they will have patience too. So what happens, this very significant characteristic of this age group, that copying and copying other people, when they observe people, there is a lot of observational learning, if I use the correct word, if you're understanding. So observation learning is very obvious with this age group. So if they see people are panicking, people are stressed, people are basically becoming angry, so you will find the same reaction from them. Same case. When we teach these teacher educators, we tell them that never to shout or scream in the classroom. Why? Why do we say that? Right? We say that to them because if you shout with little pitch, your students will be higher than that pitch. So it's like a competition. So do not create that competition, or do not create that kind of confrontation. Do not allow that. So I think be the bigger person and be the wise person, in fact. Stay calm. That is the only thing I can say, and I'm sorry for that, but there is no recipe to it. There is no cookbook available yet, but I don't think so it will be available also, but it's all like observational learning. We are observing other people and we are experiencing ourselves. So I think that is the only suggestion I can give, and hope it will help. And regarding time management, since we with these children are there at home, Kiran mentioned like it's 4 months, and I realized during this presentation only that it's been 4 months now that these children and everybody is at home. And this is, I think, the longest time these children are at home without going to school, without meeting their friends. So you can understand the level of stress these children are going through. And yet, I mean, and of course, their parents are also going through the same kind of stress, and maybe more stress than these children. Because earlier children used to go in the morning, they used to come in the afternoon, they sleep, go to tuition and all that. There was a routine. But now there is no routine. So they are all the time, 24/7, they are at home. So you need to find some ways to deal with that, because dealing is very important. Otherwise, there is a tendency of stressing out a lot from the parents or adults, caretakers basically. So my suggestion would be time management is the key, and plan, schedule things, schedule plans for next day with children. Take them into consultation, because that's very important. That's where you develop trust, and trust building is the very important key of this age group. This age group is very interesting, but very critical. So, and this is the time, because it will, once it's passed, everything is already done. So this is the time I think we can handle that and work through that. Thank you, Kiran.
Thank you, Fawzia. Again, a very comprehensive answer. Now, two very interesting comments before I will just move towards wrapping up. One question is, I mean, for mothers, because I'm reading your responses, so this is giving me an idea. We will definitely be doing one session only for mothers. How can you keep your mental peace all the time, and how can you be more active at home, and how could you be more resilient, just like children, right? So we'll definitely be coming up with something like this. So mamas, as per the common misbah, please don't turn yourself into a monster. Stay like a mother, because your child needs you the most at this time. And the other one, please don't feel like running away. Don't run away. Your family needs you. Your children needs you. The only thing you need is just calm yourself down. Once you'll be in a state to calm yourself down, your mind will work better and you'll get more energy. Just the last question, and we just have about 2 to 3 minutes, everyone. And that is, the question is about the gadgets and laptops are harmful for children. Do you think teaching through them is not only effective, but also harmful to children? So Amna, first you, and then Fawzia.
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, that yes, giving the screen time is not a very good idea. So, and getting away from it is also not a good idea. All right, because once when the things are at home, the children are watching their parents, their elders continuously stuck up with the mobiles, and we are saying no to them. So that is also not good for them. Plan in your daily routine some sort of screen time, which may include not more than 15 to 20 minutes, I would say. So in that case, I would say that you can have twice a day if it's okay, but I would suggest once is okay. All right, set a time with them that okay, fine, from this time to this time you can do this. Secondly, the thing which was mentioned that the kids are not listening, or suddenly I just what are some of the responsibilities that your mom really goes through, which cannot be delayed, or which cannot be removed from the daily routine. So if you are going to cooperate with me, you are going to be a nice child, you are going to listen to me, help mama out in the things, so I will give you this as an incentive. Take the incentive. Okay, so for 15 minutes, or maybe for 5 minutes, or 10 minutes twice a day, this is your incentive, and it could be given suddenly also. Okay, but make sure the child's posture is proper, the child's distancing from the eyes and the mobile phone, it's appropriate, it's not like stuck to the eyes, or if the child is lying down and using the mobile. So these are some of the things that you really need to monitor: the sitting position, and the distance from the eyes and the screen. But don't ever say that you cannot give them. We know that it's dangerous. Either you also don't use that, or otherwise take some sort of time and give the child to use that under your supervision.
Okay, great, Amna. Fawzia, just 2 minutes for you to wrap up with this answer, and then we'll have a conclusion. Okay?
All right. Again, I will talk from this particular age group perspective. So this particular age group is very shy, and they lack trust. And why I'm saying that, I will explain that. So in order to develop that trust, it's very important that we don't do the policing thing. Policing will not help. Micromanagement जिसे कहते हैं ना, कि what are you watching, what are you doing, that will not help. Give them guidance, show them good sides, and maybe show them good sites basically as an example, and watch them something on internet with them, basically on the device, whether it is laptop, computer, or tablet, basically, or mobile. So what is going to happen, that they will learn that what are the good sites which are available. And internet, trust me, is a very good place to learn a lot of things, because we don't have access to the library these days. We don't have access to any kind of other repository where we can visit and learn things. So develop their interest in things which will help them to learn. Nature is a very good source for it. Engage them with some videos, basically motivational videos, nature videos, basically, which helps them to learn, which is of their level, basically. And I come from a science background, so I would say there are lots of sites on science teaching, science learning, concepts. That's the good time to engage them with those sites, so that they can learn something good, and they will understand those concepts which they are not able to learn in the school context when they were going to the school, because we have other activities at that time. Now we have spare time, so they can spend time on that. They can develop their reading skill, they can develop their science and mathematics skills basically, because science is also a skill, by the way. Observation hai, investigation hai, things like that. So, but the thing is that they can't do that on their own. They need help. That's something which I will emphasize. So help them with that. Connect them with some of the sites which will help them, which will engage them. Because as much as their senses are engaged, that's the good time to understand that they are engaged mentally. And when they are engaged mentally, they are thinking. So it means they are maintaining their well-being. That's the general. I mean, that's the only indicator of that. Otherwise, we cannot read the mind. We cannot understand what they are thinking. So talk to them about it. So as much as they are talking about it, they are sharing with you what they have done for the whole day, what sites they have visited, maybe. They talk about that, you talk about that. So because it's a different age group. So we need to understand that they don't need policing, but they need to develop that trust. You need to give them that trust. But yes, talk about the social networking, how much they could be dangerous, because balance is always good. Sitting 30 minutes every day, maybe in 2 slots, 30 minutes a day, that should be more than enough for this age group. They should not be using social media for a longer period of time, because that's not healthy actually for this particular age group, because their mind need to be engaged. They need to be engaged in physical activity. They should do something on their own in which they are able to express themselves. Just watching, because whatever they will watch, it will have effect on their mental health. So in order to have good effect of whatever they are doing, we need to have variety of activities available for them. Engage them in house chores. I don't see a problem in that for some time. Maybe just helping them in few things at home, keeping clothes in the cupboard, or putting something down here, there, setting a table. Like I know Amna's kids does that, and I think it's a very healthy activity. I mean, it's a very small activity. It's not a big thing, but I think it engages them and it makes them feel that
All right. Fawzia, I think your internet has stopped working, which is all right. We have already crossed an hour's time. So let me quickly wind it up, everybody. Thank you very much for your questions, for your comments. Two interesting ideas that have come up here, that we need to engage our children irrespective of the age group they are into. How do we engage them? We need to really think outside the box. We really need to be creative enough in terms of engaging them. We need to give them spaces, we need to give them opportunities, and we also need to give them choices. And yes, it has to come with the mutual consensus of both the parties, the children and the parents together. Secondly, thank you very much for posting your request. Please feel free, everybody. This platform is made for all of you. If you have anything that you want us to learn, let us know. We will organize sessions. And definitely we'll be having a session for mothers, and we will also be having a session for parents, specifically for the primary, because this is a request that has come. So with this, thank you very much, Amna and Fawzia. I think the practical strategies that you have shared really helped our listeners and viewers. Just an announcement, everybody, the way I announced it yesterday. Next Saturday, I'm going to have 2 interesting webinars. Very interesting. Please be with us the way you have always been there. Next Saturday, we'll have a session on the importance of music in education. Something that is very important, that is we really need, we need to understand. And on Sunday, we have a very specific discussion on teacher education and the schooling system that we have. So thank you very much. With this, we come to an end. Stay happy, everybody. Stay positive. Spread positivity around, and we'll meet you next week. Please feel free to post your questions. Continue to post, and we will answer. Thank you, and Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Thank you.